Okay, what's going on everyone? Doc here, and today I've got a little bit of a fun video. For those of you who don't know, Kabam has been running these Grandmaster Nexus Crystal deals all week. So I picked up three of them in the three classes I needed most: Mutant, Skill, and Mystic. Mutant the first day I got absolutely nothing, and the second day I got this. Elsa Bloodstone is one of my favorites. I've been looking to get her for a very, very long time, and I was so glad to see this. So I had two skill awakening gems, a lot of sig levels, and honestly, my skill roster has really needed some help. So I decided to take her straight to rank 5. No holds barred, taking a character that honestly I haven't played Elsa in a while. Since the content creator program testing of her, I haven't really played her. But she's a phenomenal champion. Ton of fun with some really good uses. I was kind of out of skill ISO. I didn't realize that I was so far out of it, but that's alright. So yeah, I've got this running on 2 times speed here. Trying to decide if I should use the rank up gem or the catalysts. I wasn't sure for a couple of these, just because, like I said, I've been waiting for a skill champion for such a long time. And since I have the awakening gems, I was hoping for someone like Nick Fury. In kind of the order that I wanted them: Nick Fury, Elsa Bloodstone, and Aegon. Aegon is really, really good. I'm kind of over combo champions ever since I did Realm Legends with Star-Lord, and I would just lose my combo and have to restart. Aegon's a lot better at that. And obviously he has some phenomenal utility as well. But Elsa Bloodstone is really, really great. She is a ton of fun. I absolutely love landing that evade into a parry. It's phenomenal and has some really good uses as well. And once I finish up this rank up here, I'll show off some gameplay. Trying to make the most out of my ISO here. 44 out of 45, just trying to use it because I have a bunch that's also expiring. I started with I think I started with 3.8 million. And I had done the math that if I had no class ISO for any character, then it would take me about 3 million ISO or 3 million golds to rank them straight from rank 1 all the way to rank 5. And then also because it's Elsa Bloodstone, I had a lot of skill sig stones sitting around. And she needs a high sig level, but she can do without it. She's also 25th on the prestige rankings, which is phenomenal. I've been trying to get my prestige up for a little while. And anyone over 10k is really good, is kind of what I'm looking for. And Elsa hits that bill really well. So here I wasn't sure. I have the 4 to 5 gem, and I've been having that for a while, but I wasn't quite sure if I should use it because I have full T5 basic, so maybe I should use up some of those. I ended up using the gem partially to save myself on some tier 1 alphas, which I'm kind of out of, and the main way I get those now is through glory. But I just decided to use the gem because, I mean, she's definitely worth it. And if I happen to land another skill champion, I can always rank them up with regular catalysts anyways. So really, I just wanted to use the gem because I had it. No real reason to save onto it for that long. I tend to save onto stuff for a very long time, and that does let me kind of do stuff like this. I was really happy to be able to take a character straight from rank 1 all the way up to max out. 2 skilled awakening gems, like I said, used up 1, and then I had enough sig stones to bring her up to sig 80. And she showed up on my profile as the 3rd top champion now. I think she kicked Medusa out of my profile. I'm not sure what it looks like to you guys because I think Warlock has a higher prestige. She kicked Wasp out, that's what it was. So yeah, now for some gameplay. So starting off here, gonna go into Act 6, 626. So I have 2 fights here, both 200,000 health, and they're a pretty good idea of what kind of damage that she can do in. So Elsa's non-ideal scenario is a lot broader, but I've been talking a lot about ideal situations in CCP review videos. That's kind of why it's on my mind. But her non-ideal scenario is just debuff immune. Even if they're immune to incinerates, and I'll show that a little bit later, she still does perfectly fine. Landing that evade is an absolute ton of fun. It's really helpful as well because if you have those, if you have some buster rounds up, then you get to dump those as well. So, for those of you who don't know, Elsa on the light blue icons on her are her buster rounds, and I can get rid of those. I place them on the opponent, make the opponent busted, either through landing that parry. So when I try to parry, that's what that evade's coming from, or through finishing a 5-hit combo with a light attack. And the other rounds, the orange ones, are her Incinerate / Cold Snap rounds. So the opponent, it starts off with Incinerate, and it'll place a Cold Snap on the opponent if the opponent is Incinerate immune. And she has 6 charges of either of them. You can also place the Incinerate on the opponent through finishing a 5-hit combo with a medium attack, or through both of her specials. You can kind of place different debuffs. But Elsa's all about stacking the busted debuffs because, as you can see, I'm doing an extra almost 2k damage, 2400 now per crit. That's kind of what she does. The more busted debuffs you have, the more that extra damage is, and the extra damage applies every single crit. So that's kind of how debuff immune hurts her, because you can't place those busted debuffs on the opponent. Her Incinerate is obviously really helpful. It's some really good ticking damage over time. But most of her damage really comes from the busted debuffs. So at this point, I'm still a little out of practice with her. Didn't mean to use a heavy attack there. Game just, I guess, thought I did that when I went in for the intercept. But I'm still kind of out of practice with her. Still kind of relearning her her best her best rotation. I think most likely I should use an SP1 a little bit more often. Because her SP1 gives an infinite duration precision buff, which you see here, that'll stay around until I use my next special. And obviously I want to hit more crits because then when I have more busted debuffs, it's more extra damage per critical hit. Her critical rate is the highest in the game, 36%. I'm not sure, I think it's like 11,000, but that translates to the actual 36%, which means something. And she has ways to increase it as well. I'll try to stop talking about her abilities, those of you who already know and just want to see some gameplay. My thoughts on kind of her as a rank 5. If you want to hear a lot more about her abilities, go check out my How to Use Elsa, which I guess I'll link that at the end of the video, that's in the end of screen. So right here, She-Hulk is a great matchup, large and science champion. So her dupe ability, I only got her to Sig level 80, and she benefits a lot more the higher Sig level she has. I'm still hitting for 4k extra damage there. But basically, it increases that extra damage against science champions, against large and extra large champions, and also against the final node in the quest, which I didn't actually get any gameplay of her because I'm running her entirely without synergy teams here, just all on her own, just to kind of see how far that she would get in quests, and she really did really, really well. This is 6.3, I think. It's either 623 or 633 or 632. I'm not sure which. But yeah, so She-Hulk's kind of going down pretty quickly here. Her damage may not look that flashy, but really you want to be watching those extra red burst numbers there. Only 76 hits. These are 250k health opponents, and she's doing really well. Joe Fixit, XL Science Champion. This is another really good one. But here's where I want to show off where Elsa is the best. Because of her little evade thing. So what happens to that little evade is that every time I go in for a parry, if it's not on cooldown, then Elsa's going to evade and counterattack the opponent, and it stuns them just for enough time for the opponent's little animation there for me to actually go in and intercept them and get a full 5-hit combo off. And because of that, Elsa is the absolute best option, in my opinion, for unblockable finale. And you're going to see it here in a minute here against Joe Fixit. He's got unblockable SP1, which luckily doesn't apply to his bullets right now. Will later on. But also, below 25% health, he's going to be completely unblockable. But because I'm using Elsa Bloodstone, I can use that to my advantage when the evade comes off cooldown, and I can parry him while unblockable. He doesn't actually hit me. I auto-evade. Right here, I get hit by the SP1. Luckily, I'm able to survive at the very end. But right here, I'm going to land a parry, gets the evade, and I get to go in for the full 5-hit combo and finish off with the SP1, doing a couple extra 3k damage there. So I don't have to really worry about unblockable and trying to land some perfect intercept to get it in on him. I just need to parry, basically, with Elsa's special style of parry evade. And that's why she stuck out to me when I tested her out in the content creator program. And it's one of the reasons why I ranked 5 to her. It's just a ton of fun. Right here is going to be a little bit better fight. Only starting on 11% here versus Kang. But I'm going to be able to pull it out. So SP2 here, since I've used up all my busted debuffs, I'm going to dump a ton of incinerates on him. A ton of them crit for that extra burst damage. I'm not sure if it's energy damage or physical damage. It's kind of that burst there. But it is really good. And you can see I have a ton of debuffs on the opponent, so Elsa synergizes really, really well with Despair. I'm only running one out of 3 Despair right now, but that's totally fine because none of these champions are trying to heal. But if I wanted to, say, go against Realm of Legends Wolverine, which at some point I do want to do, I should pop another level, at least another level or 2 into Despair. So I would need 20 debuffs right now. So he gets the unblockable, and I'm going to bait out the SP1. Go in for a couple hits here, but I can't push him to an SP... Oh, I thought I could push him to an SP1. Well, anyways, I think I'm going to show off the evade here in a second. I'm going to bait out the SP1. Still going, and decided I should get the evade intercept to kind of show that off. But if you can't rotate them in between their specials, then Elsa is the absolute best option to get that nice, easy attack opportunity there. A little bit of a connection error there, and now onto a very, very non-ideal situation for Elsa. Colossus, not a lot of champions are Incinerate and Cold Snap immune, but Colossus is both, which means that those debuffs aren't going to be doing anything. I can't even place them on the opponent. But nobody's immune to busted debuffs, unless they're obviously generally debuff immune. And because I can place a ton of busted debuffs on the opponent, I can still get that extra burst damage on every crit. Eventually I do run out of busted debuffs every time I have to reload, but it worked out really fine here. It's a little bit of a long fight because it's Colossus, but for the most part, anyone against Colossus is such a long fight, but still, I'm doing a ton. 3,400 on every single extra crit there. I think I crit like 2 or 3 times. So that's an extra 10k damage just from a base combo. Very, very highly underrated, in my opinion, because of that. She is just phenomenal. This is 636, I think, at this point. And yeah, this is I think probably one of the chunkiest Colossuses in the game at 60k. And he has so many armors, so if I don't crit, I'm doing like 200, 300 damage. But because of Elsa, I can do so much more damage when I crit. I'm doing an extra 3k, 3,600. That's insane. 4,200 extra damage. Her light attack, her medium attack crit right there, just did 7,000 raw damage. That's absolutely insane. Such an underrated champion, in my opinion. She's similar to Nick Fury, I think, where she relies on the debuffs. He relies on his bleed. She relies on the busted and cold snap. She doesn't have as much utility as some of them. She's very much raw damage, and she lacks any sort of ability XP reduction. So not only if the champion is immune to Incinerate will she change those debuffs to Cold Snap, which I guess I haven't shown off in this video, but if they've evaded, she'll change them to Cold Snap, so she does have the ability to stop evade champions that way. Yeah. So Rhino. Rhino's another one. This is going to be the last fight I think I'm going to show off. I thought she'd be a little bit better against Rhino than I thought she was. Rhino is another one where it's really, really difficult to get an attack opportunity against, and this is a very, very big Rhino. This is right after the Colossus in that same quest, 636. So the furthest you can go into regular content now. I thought she'd be really good for him because of that evade counterattack, but for the most part, he ended up... I'd hit him when he was unstoppable during my combo, and then he'd just keep going, and that would get me hit. So she wasn't as good a counter to Rhino as I was hoping, but she still has just the raw ability to output a ton of damage, especially because he's a Science XL champion. She's probably better than a lot of other characters, but against like a stun immune Rhino or something, I was really considering going up against the stun immune Rhino, but I'm glad I tested her against this one before because she's not phenomenal for him, but she gets the job done much better than I had. I think I might have run like Medusa or something like that. Against some other time trying to fight this Rhino when I was first completing this quest. She did work really, really well. But Elsa's all about those busted debuffs. You can see 4Ks, 2Ks, and it does an extra 3K damage. Right there, you saw what I mean, where Rhino keeps going. Incinerate's going to kill him off anyway, so not too bad at all. So, yeah, that is pretty much going to wrap it up. That's Elsa Bloodstone, a little bit of why I maxed her out. A lot of you probably already saw this on Twitter because I posted it. I posted it on Twitter. I was super excited. Shared it in a bunch of Discords, and then I maxed her out within like 10 minutes. Really, I was waiting for her for so long, and she really is just a phenomenal champion. I can't wait to have her. Hopefully, I'll have some more gameplay of her out pretty soon. I just wanted to make this one as a kind of a first impressions rank 5 gameplay. And I really think that she is a she kind of is an underrated skill character. She lacks a little bit of utility, but she makes up for it in just insane raw damage. Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna continue doing some gameplay of her and seeing how she does into more late game stuff. She's not Abyss of Legends clear, maybe some Labyrinth of Legends stuff against like Red Hulk and that kind of stuff. Could see her being pretty interesting in. So that's gonna do it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.